All right, so now what we're going to get into is sidechaining. So in this project, we have a sidechain bus set up. So a lot of people, I see people put sidechains on every single track. That is not what you want to do, because if you want to change your settings, then you got to go through to every single one and change the sidechain settings. And if they're not sidechaining together, it just might sound messy. So what you could do is you could put the sidechains on the group, and that's great. But then if you want to change the settings again, you have to go to each group and change the settings. So what I do, and what other people do as well, is they make this sidechain group and they make these buses, so these outputs. And basically what you can do is you can route these tracks. So originally this said master. So this group would go straight to the master. But now what we're doing is we're sending this group to this sidechain bus here. And basically what it's doing is we can sidechain everything coming through here. So for this particular track, we have this trigger, which is essentially this little bit of a kick. And basically what it's doing is we have this low part, which is just emulating the kick. And the high part, which is going to play the sample twice as fast, which is going to emulate the snare. So that is our trigger, and that'll work just fine for this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to turn off this compressor, and I'm going to add a Pro C. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this sidechain to this sidechain main. And it'll say track in, and it says, no, we want this to affect Pro C. So now when we go here, we're going to hit this sidechain. And we're going to hit external. And so what we need to do is we need to turn this track on. But what we can do is we can take it all the way down. Okay. So this is pretty touchy. This track needs to be on for the sidechain to work. So what happened was, when this was being sent to the sidechain group, you would hear this, because what we're doing is we're outputting the audio signal to this group. But what we want to do is we want to output the audio signal to a compressor right here. So instead of it being, we sent that to a track, and this would have played through the track, but we want it to go to the compressor. So we're going to need to leave this on, but if we solo this, we won't hear anything. So we're just going to use its signal to control the sidechain of this. So this clean is good, but what I want to do is I want to take it to opto, because opto is quicker. All right, let's take it back to clean real quick. So what you can do too, which is great, and what we're going to have to do is we can EQ the input. Oh, it's because the release was on 150. Okay, so we're going to want to take this release to like 20 and the attack all the way down. Let's take the ratio up to 10. So this sidechain trigger is really short. But let's say that we wanted to sidechain it to the actual kick, because this is what I do. So I'll do kick trigger. So I'm going to bring this up to here. And I'll let this one just do the snares. So I'll say snare trigger. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make a new one of these. So I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to send this to sidechain main. And we're going to hit this second sidechain. So now this one is using the kick signal, and the kick signal is definitely long. So it's not just a little click. So what I'm going to do here is, this is when I would use the EQ. So I'm going to just label these so we know what we're looking at here. Okay, so the one that's grouped is the kick sidechain. Let's just remember that. So that's way too long of a sidechain, and it's because that's how long the sample is. So what I'm going to do is they have these pre-built cuts in here. So basically, if you're using a snare, you can low cut the sample just to use the tail, because a lot of times with a snare, the high end is the tail, and that's the splashy part. So this low cut signal would be good for a snare. However, we are going to high cut this because we want to use just the click of the kick. So look at how short that immediately becomes. So now we can really control. So now. So this is a pretty intense sidechain. And let's go ahead, we're going to turn the look ahead on, and we're going to pump this up. And we're going to pump up the look ahead for both, because I want to give the sidechain like a lot of time. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to turn these compressors on. I'm going to turn the original sidechain back on. And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to copy this MIDI so we can put it back there. So I personally use the Ableton sidechain every time. So like that's just me. But if you do want to experiment and use the Pro C, you know, that's totally fine too. So this is just how you do it though. But I think it sounds good. I just personally like the Ableton sidechain more. But for the purpose of this course, we're gonna leave it on. And so what we're going to have to do is we have this sidechain sub, and this is sidechaining to just the, oh, this is sidechaining. Okay, so basically this was sidechaining to what we had. So what I want to do is I got to put that here, but I need to also duplicate this kick trigger because we need to send it to sidechain sub. And then the Pro C. So the reason why we have to do that is because this kick trigger, we're sending it to the sidechain main kick sidechain. So we can't send it to two different places. We can, but we'd have to use like external instrument or something, some sort of routing here. So we're not going to do that. I'm just going to duplicate it and then send it to the sidechain sub. So that is how you sidechain. Again, I personally recommend the Ableton sidechain. I just like how it works, and you don't have to do all of this routing and stuff that you have to do with the Pro C. But to each their own. That is how you do it though, if you do want to experiment with it. So now we got the whole track mixed down. Everything is processed. We have their sidechain. So now the next thing we're going to do is master this track.